my good side.
Have we got your good side?
Whenever I start a new project, I never really know where it's going to lead me. And when I started this project, I never thought it would mean having to be on camera myself. A lot of the time, my projects are more straightforward. I have a lot less room to explore ideas within my work. And in fact, to do so would likely complicate things and make more work for myself. So when I was asked to film this event workshop, I initially thought that's what I'd be doing here too. Visually documenting the event, making an overview of what happened in very simple, formulaic ways. But the more time I spent with the people attending this event, the concepts and the ideas they struggle with in their work, I realized it probably wasn't going to be that straightforward.
Ja brastiji zaravamni kurmanje u az hanek khabaten khoy bkurid machine.
Il mio interesse è inizialmente sulla creatività linguistica.
I hope that we can close the research gap about digital, multilingual linguistic practices of young people.
É imposible levar a cabo unha investigación que sexa totalmente aséptica. Porque, estás traballando con seres humanos, entón, venxe coas súas historias. Entón, nunca vai ser pura ciencia como as STEM, non? Que lle chaman. Vai ser, humanities, e sempre vai haber moita interacción. Sí?
There is so much to research, to see, to I don't know. È così grande tutto.
Sì.
È bello essere piccoli in questo grande, ti muovi meglio.
There's no room for egos.
Exactly.
So I began to notice a crossover in what we do, and an idea started to form. Could I somehow include myself in this film, and by doing so, say something more, but also not make it just a film about me? Because I still had an event to cover.
My name's Adrian Blackledge. I'm a co-investigator on the MultiLX research project, in which we are generating new knowledge about the communicative practices of young people right across Europe. We're bringing together today for the first time 23 researchers who have various different levels of experience as researchers, but bring a whole array of talents and multilingualisms to their case study research.
Hello. Hello. How do I say hello, Johnny?
In Kurdish, Slav.
Hi.
Hi, Victor.
I prefer English, please.
Do you want me to look in the camera, or do you look at her, probably, yeah?
No, yeah, you look off camera.
I'll just check my hair though, just in case.
The focus will be on me, so don't worry about it, yeah.
So let's begin.
Let's begin?
Yeah.
Vale. Bueno, imos falar en galego, en catalán, en unha mistura de linguas.
To give you a few examples of the case studies they're conducting in Turin and Berlin, we're particularly focusing on young people from migrant and asylum seeker backgrounds.
Non posso viaggiare da solo, sempre con una persona, ma in Italia non è così, le ragazze.
In Catalonia and Galicia, we're looking at the promotion of minority regional languages, and in northern Norway, we're focusing on young people who want to reclaim the Kven language, which is associated with their heritage.
We'll be doing some different workshops. The first one will be in summer.
Adiós, Paula.
Sí, Paula.
Com has trigat, com has caigut en la sociolingüística?
Biográficamente?
Bueno, sí.
Sí, claro, caí esa é a miña resposta, non é unha pregunta. Por onde nacín, porque son galega, entón a sociolingüística, queiras ou non queiras, afecta a toda a lingua, todas as linguas teñen a súa sociedade, non? Pero cando hai unha lingua minorizada, pois acaba sendo parte da tua realidade, das tuas reflexións, non? Entón, pois, ainda que non quixera, pois, estaba aí xa dada, é unha condición coa que nacín xa, se queres.
Ich höre raus, du bist 4, 5-sprachig?
Deutsch, wenn man in der Schweiz die Diglossie zählt, die Dialekt, ich spreche Walliser Deutsch, Albanisch und dann Französisch und Englisch, genau.
Der Minderheitensprache, die du mitbringst, Albanisch, auch eine Schlüsselfunktion in deinem Projekt?
Ja, da wären wir jetzt bei meiner Rolle und ich denke, das kann auch Zugang verschaffen, das kann Vertrauen aufbauen. Aber es kann auch Herausforderungen mitbringen. Ich denke, diese Doppelrollen, die ich im Sinne von Lehrerin und Forschende habe, aber auch eben albanischsprachige Person, können auch Herausforderungen mitbringen. Wie viel es kann sein, dass mir zu viel erzählt wird, es kann sein, dass mir zu wenig erzählt wird aufgrund von Annahmen. Ich denke, da bin ich auch... die reflexion ist im Gange.
Zarabeamın kurmancı. Emce bejin kurmancı ya Kurdiya kurmancı. U pranijir li Bakure Kurdistanê, li Kurdistana go li Türkiye te axaftin. Ji bilî Bakure Kurdistanê li Rojava û li Başûr emce dibêjin یا گل عراق دمینه، روجاواجل سوریه دمینه، و ایران جه. یعنی کرمانجیل هر 4 parçanın Kürdistan'a go Kürtliğe dediğin te axaftın.
Which languages do your research participants speak?
Mostly, I think they speak Kurmanji Kurdish, but because Kurdish has many dialects, like Kurmanji, they may speak Sorani as well. And Sorani, Gorani, and Zazaki, but we have other friends, other team members who are speak Sorani and Zazaki. Yeah.
As a group share this orientation.
I have many hopes invested in this project. First, because it's such a privilege to be among these really established and well-known sociolinguists, but at the same time with a lot of postdocs, PhD students, master students who are joining the field of sociolinguistics, and they always bring so much energy into the projects. So I really love this balance of senior, more experienced researchers, then middle ground, and then new researchers.
It's a funny space being a research assistant in a project like this because you're hired on the basis that you're an expert with all of these research skills, but at the same time you come into an environment like this and you're very junior. So it can be kind of tricky to navigate that. You want to contribute to discussions, you want to ask questions, but there's always this funny kind of, for me anyway, maybe a small reluctance to maybe engage in those kind of, high-level academic discussions. Even if I have something I want to say, I do kind of maybe hold back a little bit sometimes. I don't think it's unique to this project or to me either. But to be fair, I do think this seems like a space where they're really aware of that. And they seem to be making a conscious effort to include both early career researchers and, very established academics in the conversation.
I think I can learn from many, at many level, academic level, organizational level as well. I think it's very interesting how you can do like this big project and coordinating everything, and also if you want to do some documentary, it's something that you can learn by watching people who are doing this.
I guess starting anything new is a little bit scary. I'm kind of wondering how you're going to kind of fit in, how you're going to get along with everybody, how you're going to work with everyone. So it's kind of an unknown at the minute, I think, for me and probably for everybody else. Coming into something and thinking, okay, what's my place here? What do I bring? How will I get along with everybody?
Since this is my first sort of foray into, I guess, research, I didn't have that many preconceived notions about what research would be. So I've been positively surprised in that everyone's very flexible. We've done drama workshops. It's been very different from what I expected.
Being a teacher or being a researcher, being a student, always puts you in this humble way of life, because you can try to be the best. You can try to think that you know everything, but you'll never. And the more you study, the more you realize you don't know nothing. Nothing.
Right now, you're probably wondering where I've got to. Well, I'm still here, deep in the process of shaping all the footage and ideas into something that holds together. I've been sitting with the material trying to work out the story it's really telling. My usual approach is to let people speak for themselves, to bring forward their personalities and passion, and to keep myself out of view. Ideally, you don't hear from me at all, but everything still filters through my perspective, and I don't really know how much I can ever remove myself from that story.
But I want to think that you might not exactly know what you're going to do, and
I have an idea of what I'm going to do. And I have an idea of what I'm going to do, but when I get it into that space where I'm constructing it, I feel like it's more like, sometimes it's rhythmical.
Yes, lovely.
It has to make sense. You know, it can't just be a rhythmical nonsense. It has to make some sort of sense. The end doesn't seem to work, or you can kind of feel where it almost is weightier in certain parts, and you can feel that, and I don't know how to explain that, but it does. There is a feeling of this is dragging, you know, or not.
I think if we want to really understand young people's perspectives on their languages, and in particular on their cultural heritages and their identities, we really need to listen to them in spaces which are unconstrained, unregulated, and not institutionalized.
So I was a bit, as I said, wary about how would go the session. But Rachel was brilliant. I mean, she's very experienced, and you could see that.
Quite quickly, can you just in your groups figure out what do you look like as a researcher? All right. So for me, as a researcher, I'm here. I'm in the thick of things. I'm practice-based. I'm in the thick of things. If you're someone that maybe is watching and observing, you might choose this. It's whatever you feel is you as a researcher.
The drama workshop was perfect because not only did it refer to communicative practice, and in particular the role of embodied communication in communicative practice, but also this being the first time that this group has met together, it was very much about team building, ice breaking, people engaging in collective action for the first time, and having fun, really becoming a team.
I loved how everybody went along with it, and I hope that this helped as well channel voices and be ready to participate.
There's so many different options of how to work with arts. So the hard thing is really narrowing down what could be the best way, because we want it to be accessible and not feel scary to people. At the same time, we want it to be genuine, and maybe to take them out of this research context, something that movement or other forms of expression can, I think, really do effectively, to take you out of that context and have you into a different mindset.
Okay. Do I have to ask something else?
Have you got any questions?
I got one, but I don't know exactly how can I express that in English. But actually, my question is now, for example, I'm new into research, and I see every country struggles with money cutting or financial cutting about research and all that stuff. And I'm asking you, how important is now today with this project to find new data and to analyze this data? What is the point of all that? Are we giving something more to the world or not?
Yeah, it is. That's such a good question, and it kind of points to what a huge responsibility it is to do this kind of work and what a huge privilege it is to do this kind of work, which Angela was saying at the beginning, and that really resonated with me because that's how I felt when I kind of took up this position. Wow, what a privilege to be able to go and visit different cultures, to be able to go and visit different contexts, to find out about the way young people all across Europe are using language in their lives, and to sort of report on that, but also then what a huge responsibility, and to have that level of funding, and you know, are we doing the right thing with it? Are we kind of worthy of it? And I guess we should always ask that question.
My vision of science or research is that it's not something that we keep for ourselves. It's something we share. And we have to give back to society, because many of these projects are public money, run by public money. So we have a responsibility to produce results that are useful to society.
Qué maravilloso que estemos no punto da historia no que estamos, no que realmente existe esta comunicación, ese interese desde os organismos que teñen os fondos de encargar un proxecto como este, e que nos falábamos hoxe a mañá, falaban de responsabilidade. É unha responsabilidade e un privilexio, pero é unha responsabilidade maravilloso que podamos estar falando coa xente na rúa, preguntar e ver os problemas que teñen, non? As preocupacións, os soños, como lles gustaría que funcionasen as cousas, que fondos necesitarían, que tipo de apoios, que tipo de estructuras, e que nos podamos ser o punto de unión para que pueda haber algún tipo de cambio.
Okay. I don't know what you said, but where did you get to?
Yeah, to the last one actually, yeah. Yeah. We were talking about impact and the macro level policies. We got there.
This isn't quite the film I expected to make at the start. Creativity and research often works that way. It's unpredictable, and it's shaped by the process itself. There were moments I didn't know what I was looking for, or how to put it all together. But in the end, I had to let go of the idea of a perfect version.
Why do you think you're sitting here doing this now?
Interviewing?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to double check everything's still recording. Yeah, because because that's an important thing.
This isn't a conclusion. It's just one way of seeing one attempt to make something meaningful out of all this data.
Mm-hmm.